Matthew's Church, which is where Philip Newbold, my great-great-grandfather, was born. Across the street from the church is the Robin Hood, which is owned by Marsden's. Gresley's in Overseal, where Philip Newbold was born and lived till he was 18. This may have been his farm right here. You never know.
This is the church in Netherseal. I was fascinated by these figures around the stained glass windows and the beauty of them.
The body of Sarah Newbold, wife of John Newbold of Donisthorpe and daughter of John Smith of Overseal, departed this life November the 18th, 1755, aged 28 years.
To the memory of Francis Newbold, who died June 13th, 1792, aged 66 years, and John Newbold, who died June 3rd, 1787, age 27 years.
This is the Black Horse Tavern in Appleby. It has been in existence for over 400 years. Inside this tavern, I found it hard to believe that some of my ancestors, perhaps as long ago as 400 years, may have frequented this establishment. You know, in the United States, something a couple hundred years is old, but here I found a tavern that was over 400 years in which my relatives may have stopped in and enjoyed a pint or two of the fine brew that was offered by this establishment. It was very nostalgic for me to frequent this place, and I enjoyed the refreshments there very much. This is St. Michael's Church in Appleby. Once again, I enjoyed the fine stained glass windows there and found them very inspiring. However, the pews don't look as if they're very comfortable, do they? These large wooden pews here. 3 counties come together here in Appleby: Staffordshire, Derbyshire, and Leicestershire.
Appleby was an Anglo-Saxon manor, and it was just a clearing in the forest. It was given as a gift at the conquest by William to the Applebys of Normandy. They were soldiers, these de Appleby knights were. One of them died at Crecy on the 25th of August 1346. And a widow of a later Appleby was burned at the stake in Coventry for her religious views. And legend has it that another returning in full armour from battle slipped from the drawbridge of the moat house into the moat and drowned. The oldest building in Appleby is the moat house, which is seen right up the road. It's mainly 15th century, built on earlier foundations, but with subsequent additions. This is St Michael's Church. It's a medieval church built in the 12th century. And I don't know which part of the church Appleby Magna sat in, but they were segregated from Appleby part of people. But
One on one side over here.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to sit together.
And then the other side over here.
In the graveyard in the top corner is the tombstone of Samuel Haywood. I told you he was the county hangman. He died in 1882. And there was cup fighting and bare-knuckle fighting and drinking after hours all around this area because it was close to the county borders, and if a lookout said that the police were coming, he just hopped over the fence into the next county. There was once a pub in Appleby called the Three Tons, and its chimney was in Derbyshire and the rest of it was in Leicestershire, so I suppose they had some illegalities going on as well. So, shall we?
Parish and Church of St. George and St. Mary, Parish of Gresley. This is where my relatives were married. I believe it.
This is where my great-great-great-grandfather, Thomas Newbold, married Jane Bates in this church in Gresley. Our last night in this region, we decided to see the play The Mask of Moriarty. It starred Geoffrey Palmer and James Grout. We saw it at the Leicester Haymarket. This is a place where plays are tried out, and if they're successful, they move on to London and then possibly on to New York. We found the play very funny. It's a farce on Sherlock Holmes, and here we are standing outside the ticket counter just about ready to go in and see the play. As you can see here, it cost £7.50 or about $10.